Four Mindfulness Foundations by Venerable Rungruan Papasaro, Dr. Rungruan Lim Chu Patapa. The 37 factors for enlightenment are classified into 7 groups, and the 5th group is the Four Mindfulness Foundations. After the accomplishment of mindfulness meditation and absorption, the mindfulness will be developed into a purified mindfulness for an insight observation in the Four Mindfulness Foundations. The Four Mindfulness Foundations can be considered in 2 aspects. Firstly, they are the result after performing the mindfulness meditation, and secondly, they are the tasks of performing the insight observations. That is the reason why the Four Mindfulness Foundations are after the 5 elements of faculty and empowerment in the sequence of the enlightenment factors. In Buddhist practice, the quality of mindfulness is improved throughout the mindfulness development, mindfulness meditation, and mindfulness absorption until reaching purified mindfulness, what will be used for insight observations of the operating system of mind in terms of mental phenomena and the process of dependent origination. Practically in the insight observations, we go through the observations on each foundation of the Four Mindfulness Foundations as follows.
1. Performing mindfulness observations on the body. To have a mindfulness to observe the object of consciousness related to the body. 2. Performing mindfulness observations on the feeling. To have a mindfulness to observe the object of consciousness related to the feeling. 3. Performing mindfulness observations on the mind. To have a mindfulness to observe the object of consciousness related to the mind. 4. Performing mindfulness observations on the Dharma. To have a mindfulness to observe the mental phenomena and mind processing as Dharma.
The completion of the Four Mindfulness Foundations is very necessary to have a full realization on how the whole system of life works, especially the process of dependent origination. That is, by performing insight observations of Dharma on body, feeling, and mind, respectively part by part, then integrating the roles of the mind processing including the parts of body, feeling, perception, volitional formations, and consciousness in the 5 aggregates of being in terms of a continuation of mind processing in consciousness, name and form, the 6 sense bases, contact, feeling, craving, existence, birth, aging and death, ignorance, volitional formations, and then renewing the next round of the process of dependent origination. The Buddha then realized the truths of life within nature as an enlightenment. On the day of enlightenment, the Buddha spent times considering both on forward processing and backward processing of the process of dependent origination with careful investigation. Then he completely understood the whole truths of life within nature as follows. The description of the world, and the interfacing between a life and the world through the 6 sense bases. The origin of craving in reaction to the world. The origin of the assumption of a self in the 5 aggregates subject to clinging. The arising and fading away of the object of consciousness, and the problematic matter to life due to the 5 aggregates subject to clinging. The origin of ignorance in aggravating the problem in volitional formations. The aggravation of problem with ignorance in volitional formations. The complete cycle of the process of dependent origination. The renewal of the process of dependent origination within an internal loop of mind processing. The aggravation of defilement within the process of dependent origination which results in sorrow, lamentation, pain, dejection, and despair and suffering to life. The Buddha introduced the Four Mindfulness Foundations for performing an insight observation on the mind as a whole system by having mindfulness to station at the 4 foundation bases, that is, the body as part of the input, the feeling as part of the output, the mind as part of the operating system of the mind, and the Dharma as the conclusion of the truths of the nature of the mind system, respectively. It is very important to address here that all the truths of life within nature, so-called the wisdom, is exactly the same truths of nature that the Buddha discovered on his enlightenment, that is, the process of dependent origination as the main pathway to succeed in Buddhism.